Oh, shut your mouth, Lounge. What episode number is it, Addy?
195.
Oh,
We are so close. So close.
yeah. Oh.
5 more weeks. That's gonna be the start of December. Wow.
Yeah. It's, time moves quickly.
Yeah.
A little bit.
And I'm about to sneeze, but I can tell it's not going to be a real one.
Nice.
Ah,
Hey, who's pink?
who is pink?
What is a pink sparkle puff?
That's an excellent question.
What are frogs?
What are frogs?
What are frogs? I just love it's the delivery that kills me. Because you hear Stephen King say, the proper Jeopardy, what are frogs? Immediately followed up by, what are frogs? It's the fact that it's quietly in the background, like he thought he wasn't on the mic. He thought his mic wasn't hot.
All the little critters.
Yeah.
I had this funny conversation with my family where nobody knew what a dingo is. Like the proper dingo, yeah. Like nobody knew the proper scientific whatchamacallit that it's in, like the family. The genome line.
Dingo!
Yeah.
I thought you said gringo!
No, we know what a gringo is. Yeah, because freaking like dingoes don't exist over here, from what I can tell, like anywhere near us.
They don't exist over here either.
Alright, do dingoes only exist in Australia?
Australian.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're just Australian, aren't they?
I don't know. But so it was like, aren't they just like some like weird crossbreeding of foxes and wolves? And I go, no. I'm pretty sure dingoes are canid and foxes are very, very much wolpid, and they can crossbreed.
I don't know.
I would have to do more research. Like I did some research into how, like, the different weird freaking dog-like creatures. It's the best way to call them.
Yeah, I guess I can't recall ever having heard of a dog-fox hybrid.
I mean, what would you even call it? Because like I've seen some people call the concept, like, what was it, Fulf, and I remember I very much prefer the alternative Wox.
Wox, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man. All right. So, Pink, what do you got coming out on your channel this week?
Dead by Daylight, and I think I've got some leftover Left 4 Dead that I need to put up, but I'm not certain.
All right. Archie, anything on your channel?
I have nothing.
Okay. On my channel, there is a high chance and high likelihood that this week will be the debut of the cafe trailer for Warhammer 3, which I am beyond hyped for. If it is this week, then I will upload something. And Addy, what is on the group channel?
So, on Monday, finally, the never-ending series shall begin with Persona 5, Episode 1.
Ooh, boy.
Ooh. Ooh.
What's the freaking what's the schoolgirls thing? Infinite launch party.
Infinite beta. Oh yes, yeah. Infinite launch beta. Well, Super Best Friends made up the never-ending launch party. Oh. No, here's what it is. It was launch party. They'd cut to the launch party, and then it would say in subtitle, like in parenthesis, still ongoing.
So yeah, this is the Infinite Persona party.
Yeah.
Like, I just want to note, we've done 5 sessions so far. We've only done the first dungeon, and the series goes into the middle of December so far, and I have not edited all of the sessions we've done. So Yeah.
Have I ever told one of my favorite stories related to Persona? Well, it's not really a story, but have I ever mentioned like when Persona 5 came out, I was in my senior year of high school, and going to high school, there was a group. I was in a film literature class, and there was a group of 3 kids that all sit together, and they just always talked about like some anime bullshit. And I remember very distinctly one day passing by them, and as I was about to pass by them, they were talking about Persona 5. But they were like super hardcore nerds. Like, I'm talking like taped up glasses nerds, right? You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And as I walked by, I started looking at them funny
Goes to
because
school with a body pillow, nerd. Nerds.
Yeah, yes. One of them was a girl though, which was a surprise.
That doesn't disqualify them.
That's true. She just gets a Yusuke body pillow instead.
Yeah. I mean, I would get a Yusuke body pillow instead.
I had noticed them talking about Persona 5, so of course I wound up looking at them like, what are they talking about? And they just shot the hardest, like, go away, normie, look at me that I've ever received. And when I think back on that moment, I just think, man, wouldn't it have been great if I just shot back some comment like, yeah, you haven't finished the Madara dungeon yet, have you?
I like how you did the Michael Bell voice that you do. So I'm just imagining Michael Bell with taped up glasses and a body pillow. Go away, back long.
Who would be Micah Bell's waifu?
Mai Shiranui.
Yeah.
I can't think of anyone with bigger boobs and bigger ass. I'm sure they exist, I just don't know of them.
I'm trying to think who would be the least, the most tasteless.
Hmm.
Who is the member of the Diet that sexually harassed a woman in Persona 5? No, who's the gym teacher?
Kamoshida.
Yeah, there you go. That's Micah's husband.
No, Kamoshida is an enemy of Micah's because he tries to take the girls for himself.
Modern day retelling of Red Dead 2, but they're all weebs.
Yeah. the man goes Arthur. We need to import them from Japan. I'm forgetting why, but there's been this.
We live in a society, Arthur.
I don't know why, but there's been this skit in my head, this Red Dead 2 skit of Dutch forcing John to wear a fursuit for some fucking reason. I don't remember the actual joke, but it was so funny.
John is associated with wolves, actually. Arthur is associated with bucks and coyotes, while John is associated with wolves.
Ah.
Yeah. Which is a bit strange, because, like, the whole thing with Arthur is the animal thing represents high honor Arthur versus low honor Arthur. Either he's noble or he's a scumbag. With John, like, John's personality doesn't really fit a wolf, other than, I guess, like, raising a pack, you know?
I mean, wolves don't have packs. The reason John having a wolf as his, like, spirit animal, I guess, makes sense, is because wolves are very much about the radioactive family. So, like, the pack behavior that people thought wolves had kind of exists, but not really, because instead of a whole pack with an alpha male, it's just a family that does shit together, and it's very tight knit and stuff. So it makes sense for John, I think.
Yeah, it does. John's not much of an alpha male, and I would say that the later parts of the early parts of Red Dead 2, John conflicts with Arthur because Arthur does try to be an alpha male. In the later parts, John conflicts with Dutch because Dutch tries to be an alpha male. So I guess, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, and so, like, usually wolves just, like, wolves move in a pack in the sense that, you know, they stick together and whatever, but it's usually just their close family, their close relatives that they do it with.
Yeah. All right. So,
I should
Pink.
know I want to be one. Anyway.
So, Pink. What's your
Yeah.
favorite animal?
That's an excellent question. I'm a big fan of armadillos.
All right. Also, what have you done this week?
What have I done this week? It was a lot of the usual stuff. I did a lot of the Streets of Rage. I did a lot of Dead by Daylight with Mike, which I owe you an apology for, because we decided to prank you a little bit.
Yeah. I should have known. I should have known, though, because you're not that kind of person who would do that. And the thing that really should have made me figure out that it was a fucking rib was the fact that you, instead of doing it in PMs on the forum or on Discord, you did it in the fucking Watchtower. Where Addy could see it. And Mike asked me what the hell was Addy's reaction to Pink posting that, and I just said he didn't say anything. Like,
honestly, I looked at it and I was like, huh, Pink's pissed today, I guess.
Yeah.
Like, I'm fine with Pink being pissed because Pink usually doesn't really talk about his emotions like that, so.
Yeah. It was just funny, though, like, in the moment going into damage control. And then, like, the next day, I get a PM from Mike saying, like, hey, and I was just like, oh, for fuck's sake.
What I loved about the prank was that it's just so stupid. It's like, what is the end goal for that?
Yeah.
For me to just be like, hey, let's get let's get Alex to think Mike and I have beef together.
Because Mike already has beef with 1/3 of the call, so he wanted to make it 2/3.
Oh, man. Yeah, I don't know, like, where exactly does that prank stop? I guess whenever we'd get internet, I'd get internet back, because then at some point I would be playing Dead by Daylight with you two, and I know there's no way you could keep that bit up while in a live call.
No.
Yeah. Boy. Yeah, the whole, you've been playing Dead by Daylight with Mike.
Yep.
I did watch that one video you uploaded of the, Boop the Snoot.
Right.
And you've also been playing with Soon a bit, right?
A little bit. We played last week, I think. I haven't seen him online since then, unfortunately.
Yeah.
We did get a 3-man group going for a while there with me, Mike, and Soon.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. We've got that. Ted looking into getting the game.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, you may not have to play Dead by Daylight.
Right?
I mean, I'm currently in a position where I could buy like a month of PS Plus, and that, or I don't get any games again for a while. So maybe.
I think it would be smarter for us not to do that. Yeah.
Right.
I think as it is right now, if we get together a 4-man gang already, like, we can just have fun. Like, it's going to be unfortunate for whatever killer we get matched up against, because we're going to have perfect communication, but... Well, perfect as far as our group goes.
Right,
Yeah.
I was about to say. We're not exactly professionals here.
And if Ted does join, we can just do private games. Fuck it.
Right?
That way you and Mike can stomp the rest of us with your massive amount of experience you have over us. I have, like, fallen by the wayside on Dead by Daylight super hard, man. I log on to Steam and I check the hours, and I can see, like, oh, you've got 30 hours in Dead by Daylight. Pink Sparklepuff has 190. Mike, the rat guy, has 640.
That's just a little bit of time. You know, there's a bit of a discrepancy there.
Oh, man. I know this is Pink's spot, but this is kind of related to Pink in a way. Do we want to talk about what got revealed at the Sony thing this week?
I have not seen anything about the Sony conference except for the fact that Insomniac is developing a Wolverine game.
That's the important part.
All right.
We haven't seen any gameplay, but just the fact that it's Insomniac making a fucking Wolverine game.
Oh boy.
Like, yeah. Yeah. I want to see X-Men other than Wolverine get love, but the X-Men altogether have been treated so poorly for the past 20 years that, like, I'm just like, fuck it. Give any good X-Men content, just shoot it directly in my veins.
Right. And it's very hard to make a bad Wolverine game, let's be honest. If you're going to take a single X-Men out from that cast to make a game surrounding that single character, it's like that's got to be one of the funner play styles to choose from, you know?
I mean,
There's so much to choose from.
I feel like they could do a couple of interesting things, but with different gameplay genres. Because like Wolverine works for the Arkham style, like 3D hack and slash thing that they have going on. But you could make a pretty interesting and engaging stealth game with Nightcrawler.
They did do that. Did any of you guys ever see the X-Men 2 video game?
Nope.
I have.
I don't know if it's very good. I think it's considered like a game that's got some neat stuff it does, but it's also a bit awkward in parts. But it's a stealth
I've
game.
heard the same.
It's a stealth game, almost kind of like Arkham Before Arkham, where you can play as Wolverine, Nightcrawler, or Iceman. And I don't see why you would play Iceman in a stealth game, but Wolverine and Nightcrawler are both supposed to be pretty cool.
Right.
And I mean, Nightcrawler is very much built for stealth, not just because teleportation is massively useful during stealth, but also because, like, this isn't really talked about at all outside of the comics, but Nightcrawler has a secondary power where he becomes invisible whenever he's in shadow.
Yeah. I remember that.
Yeah, that one's a very weird one. I can only recall Chris Claremont having only used it once.
Yep.
Also, can't Nightcrawler crawl on walls?
I think so.
Yes.
Do they ever explain why?
No.
Not really.
Because, like, Wolverine, they tried to come up with some bullshit explanation of, like, oh, Wolverine's a feral mutant. They get to have 2 mutations. But, like, does that mean Nightcrawler's also a feral mutant?
Right. Nightcrawler's got so much going on with him, from the different looks that he has, the different amount of fingers and unique feet that he has, the prehensile tail, the fact that he's covered in fur and not actual skin.
Gee, I wonder why Nightcrawler was my favorite X-Men growing up.
Okay, we're not going to talk about Azazel, right?
No, that's not canon.
Good.
The only Azazel I know is the fake Batman. Am I missing something?
What about the fake Batman?
Oh wait,
That's Azrael.
Yeah, that's Azrael.
Ah, okay.
Alright.
But, yeah, that's another thing. Speaking of stuff that's non-canon, it turns out Harry Osborn just thought it would be funny to have Mysterio make his dad think he fucked his best friend. Man, Harry, you're a real fucking Harry, what a character.
Yep.
Harry's been through so much.
What even is Harry? Like, I think I've lost the point, like the end point of Harry's character somewhere in the mid 2000s, and I've just never picked it up.
So did Marvel.
Here's the thing: virtually any character from any comic universe by now, like DC's trying to like start things over with Rebirth, and they've been trying that for a while. But the characters have gone on for so long, and so many characters have already hit the like final point of character development several times, to the point where virtually every comic book character is now aimless.
Mm-hmm.
Well, like, where is Spider-Man supposed to go from here? He's hit several points where he's supposed to have matured, and like they could have started new storylines of Spider-Man having to get used to having a family with, him getting Mary Jane pregnant and all that.
Spider-Man's
One more
endpoint
day
right now.
happened.
Yeah, Spider-Man's endpoint right now is to find Mephisto and start beating him up for a reason he doesn't know.
Yeah. Well, given that this guy, Nick Spencer, I think, has been spending the entirety of his Spider-Man run aggressively retconning everything that's happened in the last 20 years to Spider-Man, That's probably gonna happen soon.
Yeah, just in time for one more day to become an MCU movie. He's on doing one more day.
I'll tell you what. You know what make me happy? Have another day storyline where Mephisto comes back and offers Spider-Man a deal again. This time he has to sacrifice any idea of Parker Industries having ever existed in order to get his marriage and baby back.
Yeah. Yeah.
I would like that. That would be good on several levels. And Peter doesn't even hesitate. He's just like, fuck yeah.
Yep. We're done here.
The only problem would be that poor, what's her name? Maria, Doc Ock's love interest when he was Spider-Man.
Right.
Yeah, she would be the only problem because she'd just be like going about her usual day and then, boop, oh, she's just, what happened?
And now she's unemployed. That sucks.
Yeah. She's just homeless now all of a sudden. It's like, what the fuck?
I mean, if depending on how the memory erasure works, like it could not be an issue. It could be not an issue. Alternatively, he could get her a job at Stark's if that still exists. I don't know. I haven't read Iron Man at all.
Okay. Let me hit you with this. Mephisto reneges on his deal a little bit. He plays a little tricksy. Parker Industries isn't just gone; it's replaced with Octavius Industries.
Yes.
Yeah.
That would actually be a cool thing to do and an interesting thing to do with Otto as a character.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And then it could become another front to the freaking to the Sinister Six.
Otto versus Norman.
Yeah. I'm just saying
Like,
it would be really funny if we get Octavius Industries and then slowly it morphs back into Oscorp.
Yeah. You've become what you promised to destroy.
Yeah.
Oh man. Also, Spider-Man 2 was announced.
Yep.
It's apparently gonna have both Peter and Miles playable.
I mean, from the small things that they showed off, to me it looked like Assassin's Creed Unity multiplayer, and I was like, you know what? I'm not gonna complain.
Okay, an idea just crossed through my mind. So the trailer, despite being voiced over by what is obviously Craven, we don't see Craven. We see Peter, Miles, and what is Harry Venom, right?
Yes.
What if Spider-Man 2... Because here's the thing. Venom answers Craven. Like, Venom is obviously looking threatening to Peter and Miles, but he's answering the call from Craven for a threatened foe. What if Spider-Man 2 is... What if Insomniac is so fucking crazy, they're going to try and pull a GTA 5 with Spider-Man 2, and you can switch on the fly between Peter, Miles, and Harry?
I'm down for that. And you know what I'm even more...
Mary Jane as well?
What'd you say, Pink?
Can we get Mary Jane as well?
She was playable in the first game, but she wasn't fun.
Let me play as a civilian for a little while.
Mary Jane, but they've expanded her possibilities. She now has a shotgun.
I'm trying to think of what they could do with Mary Jane to make her not have to be locked into the shitty stuff segments.
Give her things she can actually do.
Yeah, but I mean, like, how could they do that without freaking, I don't know, like without making her a superhero, I guess.
I mean, Mary Jane's no pushover in the comics. Remember, she beats up Chameleon.
That's true.
Like, somebody at some point, like, at the very least, either Peter or Logan must have at some point taught Mary Jane how to fight.
One can assume.
Yeah. Or maybe she's just that cool.
Yeah, she's just cool.
But yeah, like the thing I'm looking forward to in Spider-Man 2 is Craven's Last Hunt, which will not happen, but I really want it to.
Ooh, that's the thing. Did Otto die at the end of Spider-Man 1?
No, he's in jail.
But he's going to die, right? The disease is going to get him, right?
I don't know, because from what I remember, the disease thing that Otto had in Spider-Man 1 would have just made him unable to move.
Ah.
So technically, he could.
Well, it does eventually kill you. It eventually killed Stephen Hawking.
I mean, yeah. But
Hawking's dead?
for a while,
Yes.
he's been for a
I
while.
thought
Yeah.
he'd live forever. As a robot, anyway.
Yeah, Stephen Hawking died 2 or 3 years ago now.
I haven't seen the body. I'm convinced. I'm waiting for the mech to appear.
He's looming on the horizon.
It was only a thought.
What actually happened is he went to space. That's why all the billionaires are trying to find him now.
Yeah.
You make it sound like they need to find him to like.
He's up in
Pick the
space with
second
David
Infinity
Bowie.
Gauntlet.
Right?
I don't know why, but this idea of Stephen Hawking leaving the Earth with David Bowie, it's great.
David Bowie. The thing is, David Bowie died like 2 years before Hawking did, so Bowie
Yeah.
would have to spend 2 years in hiding. Oh man.
But yeah.
That could be
What was I
hype.
going- Oh yeah, I was going to talk about Craven's Last Hunt, but I don't know what I was going to say about it, but I was going to talk about it.
I think that the thing is, like, if you know the character from the comics, then Craven's Last Hunt is what you think of.
Yeah.
It's like the most beloved Spider-Man story of all time, pretty well, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yep.
So even though they've taken liberties with some of the other villains to try and make them more interesting or make it where they had a story that could fit into one game, Craven's Last Hunt could fit pretty conveniently into one video game.
Yeah, but I mean, how are they going to have Craven buck a snake as standing in for a sarcophagus before he does the Kurt Cobain?
That'll be
Well,
fine. Don't question it.
It depends. How important is his dick being out?
As important as Bruce's in that one panel. You know the one?
I know the one. Yes, I do. As important as Oro's dick being out in that one sweep animation.
Yeah. So Mission Critical.
I hate being subscribed to Brian F. on YouTube because every time he does a stream, his notification image for it is that sweep. So every time he does a stream, I see Oro's dick.
In my dreams, I see that sight. Oro's dick.
Yeah.
You promised you'd cover it up, but you never did.
Oh, man. Oh, shit, that's bad news. I'm out of tissues.
Oh no.
Man,
Oh no.
grass allergies are great, aren't they?
Yep.
No. Not at all.
You know, I was really proud of myself yesterday because I said like most of the freaking of Mary's letter right freaking from memory.
Did you say it during a Persona 5 LP?
Yes.
So you were making a reference to two guys that would not have understood it.
Yeah. I make references to the audience as well.
See, now I know you can make references that Pink won't get and Pink will just let it keep going on. How does Aaron react to that?
Aaron wasn't reacting a whole lot because he was sick. So
No.
Aaron,
Yeah.
even without being sick, he like only pops up to say something like once every 10 minutes. Very
yeah,
quiet.
he's not really comfortable yet with the whole doing LP stuff.
Yeah, it
It's just a
happened.
fly on the
Yeah.
wall.
He got used to it. Goku did too, and Goku was even more of a recluse, I guess is the right word. Because like I remember back in
There were
2017.
several podcasts where he said literally nothing.
Not only that, I remember there were multiple sessions where we were just talking on Skype back in 2017. It was me, Asma, Rachel, and Goku, and like sometimes Idol and other people. It rotated, but we would just talk on Skype for whatever reason. And Goku would be there most of those sessions, and he only said a word once.
Nah.
And then we spent the next 40 minutes trying to figure out who talked because we didn't know the voice, and he didn't speak up.
Wasn't there something that happened like that when we had a session with Soon on and Soon said something in an unusual voice and he didn't speak up that it was him? So there's like 5 minutes of the rest of us trying to figure out who the fuck said that.
Maybe I don't remember, but I may just be forgetting.
All right. Yeah, Pink, back to what you did with your week. What'd you do?
Let's see. I finally watched the first episode of What If, featuring Captain Carter.
Oh, that's the one you were most excited for, I assume.
Yeah, my baby girl. Oh yeah. I heard a lot of bad things about this going into it. I don't think it was that bad. It just wasn't that good. I think Knight actually summarized it very well on the random thread where he said it was just boring, and that's basically all it was. Just kind of going through the motions of the first film. The best parts of that episode were parts that were not directly lifted from the film. So it's like, hey, you guys totally could have done something cool here, and you didn't, which is unfortunate.
Yeah.
But yeah, here we are. So yeah, I watched the first episode. I have no intention of seeing any other episodes unless they also feature my girl. So I'll not be continuing that anytime soon.
What, you don't want to see Marvel Zombies on the big screen?
No, I want to strangle whoever thought it'd be a good idea to put Marvel Zombies on the What If channel.
I was really hoping Pink would call out Marvel Zombies because I would have agreed with him regardless.
Yeah. If I could delete one thing from history, it would be Marvel Zombies. Yep, I'm a
Pink,
petty man.
But Pink, it got us such great series like Deadpool Kills. I've read 3 of those.
That wasn't good. No.
Like that I didn't read Marvel Zombies because I was like there's only so many bad things I can take. I read Deadpool Kills. I think it may have been the whole series because it may have just been a 3-volume thing. I forget. But
right.
I read that and I was like, you know what? Yeah, I don't need to read Marvel Zombies.
Nope.
It's not necessary after this, especially not.
Absolutely.
I gotta step out real quick.
All right.
Okay. I will continue speaking about the What If. So, yeah, it follows the same initial plot of the first Avenger, which is all right, but it's just kind of boring seeing it over again and having a lot of the quote-unquote drama played up and then solved in a matter of minutes. It feels very unrewarding, very unfulfilling. Still love Captain Carter. I'm gonna need that action figure when it releases. Then my life will be complete. I hated that they put Steve in the Iron Man armor. It was fine, I guess, but I hated the name they gave it, where they just call him Hydra Stomper.
Oh,
It's like that's stupid. That doesn't even sound cool. They should have called him just flat out Brooklyn. That would have been much better.
I mean, couldn't have he been tricking the Iron Patriot then? Like, I don't get it.
They could have done that, but I think that would have been too confusing an Easter egg when we've already had Iron Patriot before. So that would have meant
I haven't watched the MC, like most of the MCU. So did we have Iron Patriot already?
Yes, that occurred in Iron Man 3.
Ah, yeah, I didn't watch that one.
I don't think that'd be confusing it at all because most people don't even remember that.
Very true.
He went back to being War Machine in the next fucking movie.
Right.
Like, I would not be surprised if in fucking if they do if they have Willem Dafoe do Iron Patriot at like 2 movies from now. I would not be surprised if all they acknowledged Rhodey being Iron Patriot is Rhodey showing up and saying, "Hey, he stole my shit," and that's it.
I haven't seen Iron Man 3 in years, probably not since the first release, so I don't even remember how they decided to drop that gimmick.
I only watched the first 2 movies, and then I stopped watching Marvel movies because I was like, you know what? No, I don't need more Mandarin.
Yeah, I've watched Iron Man like 3 times. They don't really introduce the gimmick other than saying it's U.S. propaganda, and they don't get rid of it. It's just that the next movie he's War Machine without explanation.
Incredible.
And literally the only difference between the War Machine and Iron Patriot suit is paint job, so that makes it even more stupid. I bet you anything it was done for toys.
That's a good point. That's a very good point.
Because Iron Man 3 was probably one of the last movies where one of the primary motivations was toys.
Very true. That is very true. It's very rare to see a toy line spawn from a movie nowadays.
Kids don't play with toys anymore. They play with They play with like the Kindles and the iPads and the things.
Yeah.
They play with the Gacha Life and the Roblox. I have a niece. I know these things.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Gotcha? I thought Gotcha was about like looking at nudie pictures.
No, Gacha is shortened for Gachapon, which is the what do you call those in actual English? I've been calling them Gacha for so long I have forgotten the proper like the old name, but those machines where you put in like a quarter and then you turn it and it gives you a capsule machine. Yeah, that one. The capsule machines are Gachapon, and the entire thing of the random chance, put in money and you receive something was started getting called Gacha. I don't know when, and now it's just uses a shorthand for anything that uses that mechanic. And some games don't like it because it's gambling, and it sounds as much when people say, "Hey, that game has Gacha." And some other games like Gacha Life apparently, which markets itself to children, is like, nah, gambling, cool. We are gambling, yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was nudie pictures.
No.
You gamble for like anime nudes.
No, you gamble for normal anime art, like art stuff. It's just you gamble for PNGs of women, and it's not even pictures of women naked. It's just women. Well, it depends on the game, I guess.
What's the point then?
I don't know.
I'm very confused.
Some PNGs are rarer. That's the it's okay. You know trading cards?
Have these people heard of Google Images?
Maybe I don't like really the only thing that I can say for why this works, I guess, is just like trading cards. That's pretty much the thing. It's just virtual trading cards. You put in money, you receive cardboard that has nice art on it sometimes, and that's it. But you don't even receive the cardboard. You receive a PNG.
But you play games with the cards.
I mean, you play games with the PNGs as well. It's just not good games.
Oh, well, that's different. If it's a trading card thing, then yeah, that makes sense.
Well, yeah, it's a trading card thing, but it's a trading card kink, is what I was going to say. I guess that it could be that too, but no.
It could be.
But like, depending on it depends on the game. Like this Gacha Life game that my niece plays, it's a dress-up game. You buy the shit so you can put it on the characters and you make other characters and stuff like that. Whatever. There's I'm forgetting the names because I don't really pay attention, but there's a Gacha game that the Two Best Friends Reddit really loves. That has tower defense that has a tower defense gameplay where you get different units through the gacha and then you can do better tower defense stuff, I guess. There's card games that work like this, like actual proper card games. What else? Because I feel like I remember. Oh yeah. Freaking Final Fantasy. Final Fantasy really loves gacha, and in Final Fantasy it's very much just a thing of you gamble to get the characters you like, and then you put them in a line, and when their cooldown is down, you tap. Bless you. When their cooldown is down, you press on them, and then they do an attack, and then they go on cooldown again, and that's it.
No problem.
All right. But yeah, that's gacha.
That's confusing, is what it is.
Yeah. I like how I'm somehow the most well informed from these things, just because I pay attention, not because I want to, but because I'm a game critic and I need to. Like I feel like I need to rather. Critic with like the world's largest freaking quotation marks.
Just two massive quotation marks encompassing the critic part.
Yeah, like 300 points, heavy quotation marks, and like 2 points in 2 points went font critic.
Right.
Okay, I'm back.
All right.
Welcome back.
Ugh.
But yeah, so I did finish my freaking tangent about gacha.
Okay. What were we talking about that Pink did that led to that?
What if?
What
Yeah,
if? Oh, okay. Anything else?
Nothing else outside of that to my immediate recollection.
All right, Eddie.
All right, me. Well, I finished Assassin's Creed Odyssey again. Boy, that game is a chore. Just straight up. Now I said this to Pink yesterday as well, but I'm gonna repeat it because I think it bears repeating. So I played through the game on the lowest possible level scaling and on the easiest difficulty because the way Ubisoft does difficulty in these games is not fun or engaging. It's annoying because everyone just becomes bullet or punch sponges, I guess.
Right.
So there's
Knife
no
sponges.
Yeah, so there's no point to actually putting the difficulty up because the game doesn't become any more engaging. Like they do get more aggressive, a very small bit, but it's mostly just that their health goes up and their damage goes up and your damage goes down.
Yeah.
So yeah.
This is why there should always be a cinematic difficulty level.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
And then I also set the lowest level scaling because that just ramps up the problems with this, the way they design difficulty. But yeah, so with this, it took me 32 or so hours to finish the game until the point that they deem to be at the end of the game, which I just call the first ending. Because you get the character ending, and that's what they consider the end of the game. I disagree because after that there's still story missions. So I don't think that's the end of the story if there's still story missions, you know?
Yeah.
So to do the actual story, well, that's a complex question. So there's an end to the story in the main game, but you see that's not actually the end of the story. That's a cliffhanger. To actually finish the base game story, to finish the base game story, you need to buy the Fate of Atlantis DLC.
Yes.
Because in the Fate, you actually get the end of the main game story in the Fate of Atlantis DLC. Wait. And so yeah. So to finish what the base game came with, that part of the story, it takes until 40 to 50 hours on the easiest difficulty with level scaling on the lowest possible setting.
Yeah.
Then to do the DLCs as well. I did both of them just because you need to freaking get as many levels as you can. Because the Fate of Atlantis DLC starts on like level 50. And you're not gonna be at level 50 when you finish the base game. So
yeah,
to finish the DLC completely, I think it took me until 67 or somewhere around there hours. And let me tell you, the DLCs are episodic. There's 3 episodes to one DLC storyline. By the start of the third episode of The Fate of Atlantis, I did not want to play the game. I did it because I had nothing better to do, but I did not want to play the game anymore. Like, at least that DLC... Yeah, go ahead.
I just said understandably.
Like, there is a bit of refreshment that comes with those DLCs because unlike the Legacy of the Last or the First Blade, Legacy of the First Blade DLC takes place on the main map of the game, so there's no real like things to freshen things up. All of the Fate of Atlantis parts got their own level or their own map completely, and with every time you go to the new map, you go, oh, I like this. There's actually like new things, and it's not as cramped or like it's not as expensive. There's actually this place has actually been kind of designed. There's no freaking like random synchronization points everywhere and whatever. And you do that for the first 15 to 30 minutes, and then it sets in that just because you went to a different map doesn't make the gameplay actually differently at all. There is one new travel zone mechanic introduced that doesn't work in the whole DLC, and that's all of the new things they do to actually make it so the game feels different. So yeah, because in the Fate of Atlantis DLC they introduced the Hermes gates, which are teleportation points, because they really wanted to make big cliffs that will take you 30 hours to climb, but then they went like, oh shit, it takes 30 hours to climb. And to use those, you go into the lower gate, or whichever really, to teleport to the other one, but whatever. You go into the lower gate, you press and hold X, then you wait like half a minute for the game to load, so that you can be on the top teleporter. So it like, it is faster than climbing up the mountain, but it's not any like better feeling, really. I am still waiting, it's just a slightly smaller amount of time. I don't like. There's some parts, the DLCs at least, of Assassin's Creed Odyssey, where you go, oh, I guess that could work. This could work as its own thing, because it's shorter and it's more focused and shit. And then you realize that neither of the DLCs are written in house, and that's probably why they are better. But like the Legacy of the First Blaze was written by someone from EA, and I don't know about the Fate of Atlantis, but I'm pretty sure like. I think that may have been written in-house, but at the same time, they put out like a thing asking for people to go and apply to be a lore master, which, you know, if you need to put out a job recruitment ad into your community, that you need someone to be a lore master for the thing you make, that's probably not a good sign.
Yeah.
But yeah. I don't really know what to point out aside from all of that. Like, oh yeah. So other big thing that they messed up in the third part specifically of the second DLC pack, in my opinion, is that they have this secondary experience introduced just for that part that you need to level up separately from your normal experience. And you need to interact with certain items and stuff like that to make it go up. And it just means that even though there's not as many side missions and stuff to do in that smaller area and stuff like that, you still have to go out of your way to do everything, because if you do, you literally can't finish the DLC. So yeah. Assassin's Creed Odyssey is a game that exists on this world. People bought it for some reason. I am one of them. I don't know why
So am I. It was discounted, like 75% off. Good deal.
I bought the game. I bought the gold edition of Assassin's Creed Odyssey for $10, and I regret half of that. And the only reason I even bought it in the first place was because I expected Ubisoft to be big enough pricks to not release Assassin's Creed 3 Remastered as a separate buy. If I had known that they would do it, and it wouldn't take them 2 to 15 years like it usually does. If I had known that it would be released fairly quickly as a separate buy, I would have just bought that instead.
Yeah.
Because like Assassin's Creed 3 is bad. I don't like it. Like, okay, it's not bad. I don't like it. But like it's badly paced, especially how the beginning is handled and stuff like that. The characters are not that interesting, I guess. I mean, it's really not the problem of the characters as much as the character of Connor, and how his character development is locked into the homestead missions, which you can miss. But like, you know, if I don't like the main character, I'm not inclined to play the game.
Yeah.
Not to mention how I dislike the way they changed how the gameplay works and stuff like that. We've been over this a lot, but I would much rather play Assassin's Creed 3 anytime over freaking Assassin's Creed Odyssey, because Assassin's Creed 3 takes 20 hours, and Assassin's Creed 3 knows that it takes 20 hours, and it just ends at 20 hours. It doesn't try to haggle you into freaking doing meaningless side missions that even the designers didn't put too much thought into from the looks of them.
I think for the average person, here's the issue with this kind of thing always the average person, I think, wants as much content as possible. Like the average person who is like not like the average casual wants as much content as possible, regardless of the quality of the content. So that's why when Odyssey first came out, there were so many people going like, "Oh my god, this game's amazing!" because there's shitloads of stuff in it. But it burned out over time because it wasn't very good, meaningful content.
I mean, not only was it not very good, meaningful content. Like, I would settle for bad varied content. I would like I settled for bad varied content because that's most of the side missions in Assassin's Creed prior to this. But that's the thing. The side content in Assassin's Creed Odyssey is not varied. It's like the same 2 or 3 missions, copy and pasted all over the map, 30 million times over. And like there wasn't a whole lot of thought put into them either. It's the issue because it's mostly just like, okay, kill dude. Okay, here money. Go Mistios. Like, it's not like, and the worst part is there are some interesting missions. Like that once every 500 missions, you will find one that may actually be interesting. But you need to go through 500 other missions to get that one first, and that's the problem. Because like, I remember there's this mission on Elpis. I think that's how you pronounce it, Elpis or something like that. Whatever, the island, the peninsula, I forget. Whatever, the place where they have the Olympics in the game, because you have to go to the Olympics and then beat people up in Pancration.
Yeah.
And one of the side missions in that city is you need to rig the Olympics. You need to bet on a guy and then get him a spear that he can throw very far because it's hollowed out. And you can get him a shittier used spear that's not hollowed out. Or you can buy him a spear that's hollowed out. And depending on which one you go with, you may actually get your money back, or you could rig the bet, is what I'm saying. And that's like, that's a very basic mission structure and very basic decisions and stuff like that. But that's more than most of the side missions you get out of Assassin's Creed Odyssey. So that's one of the best ones, honestly.
Yeah.
But anyway. Now that this Assassin's Creed Odyssey rant has subsided.
What else did you do this week?
I'm not even angry about Assassin's Creed Odyssey anymore. That's the thing. Like I can just go on about freaking like the things I think are badly designed for that long. I'm not even mad anymore. I don't care. But yeah. So aside from that, I put in a couple of games of Smite. After the long while we haven't played, and despite the fact that boots are gone and everything else, I apparently still have it with Danny, so that's good.
Hey, yeah.
Yeah. I also played my first game with Hell since boots were gone, and I did good enough. I mean, it was a bit clunky at first, but it was a bit clunky at first, but after a while I started to do the healer combos that I'm used to, so it's okay.
Yeah, the rest gets shaken off.
Yeah. And speaking of Danny, I did actually go back and redraw that picture that I did last time.
All right.
So here's the latest one, probably the last one. I think this turned out good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So after I made this picture, I have a reference of Danny on my PC because of course I do. But I have a reference of Danny, and I pop that up and I go, shit, he doesn't actually have a thing holding his hat on. Why doesn't he have a thing holding his hat on?
Because he is a god.
Well, yeah, but I don't know it. I don't know. To me, he should have it because it's gonna fly off. He should be more the freaking considerate of his apparel. But that I also did go back and freaking I made a third attempt at salvaging the thing that Pink and I drew last time in Bowser, and here's that. I don't know if I don't know if I like it, but it's definitely better than the last two, and that's good enough.
I like the zippers on the horns.
Yeah.
That is very much something that he would, not Bowser, but oh shit, who's the guy who does all the Final Fantasy and Kingdom Hearts games?
I forget the name of the guy. Oh, but I know the guy.
He would absolutely think that's a cool design.
Yeah, I cheaped out and went with Organization 13 because what the hell do you how the hell do you make Bowser freaking Kingdom Hearts? I see I posed a great question.
Yeah.
Indeed.
But yeah, like that one, like I don't really like that drawing, but it's better than the last two, and I don't really want to work on it anymore. So hey,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like I did something else, but I forget what. And I feel like I even remembered going, "Oh, I'm gonna forget about this," which hey, I'm right. Hmm. Well, nothing on that front, I guess. So, the last thing I did is, I guess, that a couple of compound things. So after this year, I finally freaking like I have finally told all of my family that I'm a furry, because I told my oldest sister as well, and it was funny because I go, "Hey, I'm a furry," and she goes, "Okay." So, which I recently saw this. Yeah, I recently saw this thing where someone made like a survey of where people live in whatever parts of the furry fandom that they could reach. Europe, especially the part of Europe I'm in, but Europe overall is mostly no man's land, or I guess no animals land really when you think about it. But hey, but yeah, there's like next to no furries in Hungary from the looks of things. So hey, that's both good and bad for me. Actually, never mind. That's good for me overall. I'm not the kind of person to speak with other people, so hey, it works out.
You say that, but soon enough they're gonna come to you.
Yeah, all of the furries from the nearby nations will converge around me.
I just imagine some like perfectly innocent, like kind of like low population Hungarian airport where there's just like a guy waiting for his plane. He's drinking coffee, reading a newspaper, and just suddenly barges in this tide of furries that flood the halls.
Yeah, like, here's the thing. Hungary is so small. Like I don't think y'all understand this because of the size difference between Hungary and the States. Hungary is so small. The next airport, the airport closest to me, is in the freaking. It's in the capital. So.
Yeah, it's the thing about Europe being a like historically and culturally important place, but geographically quite tiny, is we tend to have a lot of zoomed in maps of Europe. And when you compare Hungary to Germany or France or England, it's not that small. When you compare Hungary to the U.S., it's like, oh, that's a state.
Yeah, barely.
I mean, Hungary was a state until 2000, so hey, it works out.
True.
But yeah, so yeah, basically that's all there is to that thing. Surprisingly enough, my oldest sister is my only family member who's fine with me being ace somehow. Like the furry thing's okay, but I can't have freaking like complete bleach blonde hair, and I can't be ace. I need to have the sex. It must be done. It's it's seriously to the point where most of most of my family has given me up approval in enjoying furry porn, and I go, I don't want to draw furry porn though. Like I'm cool, guys. It's okay. But yeah. And then freaking another thing. That is the same thing that happened last week happened more or less. Really, it's once again my mom freaking making me freaking tell another person that I'm a furry, and I this time I had to tell her that, hey, I don't really like this. Like, you know, give it. Not everyone needs to do it. Even then, give it more time. But hey, this is all the more reasons that for me to just walk out into the sun freaking in my fursuit once I'll have one, and then properly get shanked. Anyway.
You always imagine like there's just at any like area, like any ghetto or hood or anything like that. There's just constantly off screen a group of 3 dudes holding shanks.
I mean, no,
and they're like NPCs that haven't been spawned in yet, so they're just sitting in like the skybox.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if it's better or worse, but the last crime around me that happened was 4 or 5 years ago, I want to say. A woman got beaten to death with people's bare hands in the bus stop that's like 2 streets away from me. So, you know,
most murders and rapes are committed by someone that the victim knew.
Oh, it wasn't someone that the victim knew. It was they asked the woman for either a light or some change, I forget, and she was like, I don't have a light or change. So they just started beating her up. They just started beating her to death as a group. It was like a group of 4 people.
Football hooligans, huh?
Yeah. But without the football.
Oh. Yeah, I guess that's one thing the States has over on most of the European countries. We don't have that.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if most of Europe has this, because I've only ever lived in the ghetto, so...
I can tell you that England has it.
True. Yeah, they're the Chevs and the other stuff. Yeah.
Russia's got Gopniks.
True.
Does Germany have football hooligans? I feel like it has to, as big as they are.
Every single European country has football hooligans, dude. Every single one. There is not one country that I can think of that wouldn't have football hooligans.
Oh, if you're just asking if which countries have thugs, I'm going to say all of them. Like, crime is a universal thing. Also, like, being a person with a small dick who tries to exercise their power through beating up others and bullying others is also a universal thing.
Yeah. Because, like, I don't know if our people have been that bad, because it's like Hungary is a sort of peaceful freaking country in the sense, I guess, in that we don't usually like have riots and stuff over freaking like football, but
just Soviet.
But people do get into blood feuds over football, I guess. Like there are people that I have met people who have worked together for like, I don't know, tens of years, and they, or like, even I feel like I remember freaking there being a pair, like a husband and a wife, where they loved each other very much. They were very lovey-dovey, except when it came to football. Like, freaking soccer was just such a force to be reckoned with in their relationship that they could never bring it up, because it would lead to freaking, like, it would lead to arguments that freaking cheating would.
Man, it's a good thing Americans aren't that strongly opinionated about sports, or else Ted would have murdered me a long time ago.
I mean, my opinion is the worst one to have on sports, because my opinion on sports is leave me the fuck alone. I don't fucking care. like, if people enjoy it, good for them. That's their prerogative. If you could shut up about the EB and the what else is there? I'm forgetting because I don't pay attention. But yeah, if you could just shut up about the EB, I would really appreciate it. Oh, it's probably not called EB over there, right? Because that's a Hungarian shorthand.
Yeah, I was figuring it was just some football thing I didn't know.
Yeah, that's I think the European Championship.
Oh, yeah. I do we even have an American soccer team?
I have no idea.
We have a women's soccer team, but I don't know if we have a men's. Like, usually whenever you have soccer fans over here in the States, they're just for Arsenal.
I
Soccer's
can't think
weird.
of any Americans that actually watch
Soccer sucks.
I'm sure there's plenty, but yeah, soccer sucks. It's terrible.
I went to high school with two kids who were like super into soccer, but one of them was I think I've told this story before on the forum, but one of the kids who was into soccer that I knew in high school came into class every day high on something. I have to assume it was weed most of the time, but it must have been like the fucking best ganja grown in the fucking United States, because my god, that kid was just like not there most of the time. And the day we had finals in that class that we shared, we all finished the finals, but like with high schools, it's like, well, everyone's finished their test, but there's still an hour left before we can leave, so I guess we're just gonna huddle around in a circle and tell stories. And he was talking about, like, 2 weeks prior, he had gone to a party, and he had mixed something very stupid. I don't remember what. It was like a bunch of aspirin, some weed, like maybe, I think some Adderall, or maybe some NyQuil, I don't know. Just a weird mix of, like, mild illegal drugs and a bunch of prescription stuff and a bunch of over-the-counter stuff. And he later passed out on the front lawn, thinking he was on the run from the cops and climbing over a barbed wire fence, which I guess later turned out he was pretty well just like freaking out on the front lawn and then fell over and passed out. So I imagine that was pleasant to the other people at the party. And then they brought him to the hut, according to him, which of course, high schoolers being high schoolers, he could have just made this all up, but I find it funny regardless. He was later brought to the hospital and told that he should have died. And the big payoff to all this is, after he finished the story, my English teacher then walked over and said, "You are a fucking idiot."
I was about to say, as you were telling that story, it's like all those prescription over the counter, etc. It's like, yeah, that sounds like a recipe for death right there.
Nah, Pinky.
Yeah.
Freaking aspirin only tastes good when you follow it with Crystal Head vodka. Brought to you by freaking, I'm forgetting his name, the guy from Ghostbusters. Freaking Dan Aykroyd. Yeah.
Dan Aykroyd, yes. Yeah, that's yeah, some people are just like that. As strange as it was, he was not the most fried person I'd met in high school. There was one kid who was just, ooh. I think I may have told you that story though. I think the Maroon 5 guy.
I don't remember. Okay, a character like that.
Do you remember me telling a story about when I was in theater class, and near the end we had to do a like not a dance battle, but it was like a lip sync battle, right?
Right.
And I said, well, I can't fucking dance or lip sync to save my life. Can you give me something else to do, to the teacher? She said, okay, you'll be the judge. Here's a notepad and pen. I need you to go around and get everyone to say what song they're going to be doing and who's in their group. and so on before you judge. So I went around and did that, and there was one kid who was just like, our theater had a little hallway, a little discreet hallway leading up from the crowd area, the audience, to the stage. And just in there, in the like less used hallway that led to pretty well nothing except the stage, was just this one kid laying flat out on his ass. Like, he was pretty well making a snowman, except he wasn't moving, right? No, a snow angel, excuse me. He was making a snow angel, but he wasn't moving. And he had headphones in, and he was listening to something on his phone. And I came up to him, and I said, hey, what group are you in? Oh, I'm by my... This guy was fried out of his mind, obviously. So it was, huh? What group are you in? Huh? I need to know what group you're in for the lip sync battle. I'm by myself. Okay. What song are you gonna do? Crossroad. Oh, no, Maroon 5. There you go. Maroon 5. Okay, what song by Maroon 5? Maroon 5.
That's our favorite Maroon 5 song.
Right?
I need to just know the song, and he just like shows me his phone, and I just wrote it down anyways. But like, I love when I screw up telling stories because I think I screwed something up there.
he showed you his phone, and it's in Maroon 5 by Maroon 5.
No, sadly it did not, though that would be funny. Let me tell you, that story was a lot funnier when it actually happened, but it's happened 5 years ago now, so I'm actually getting pretty bad at telling it. I can't remember most of it. I'll have to hunt him down and get him to... I'll have to hunt down this guy who's fried out of his mind and see if he remembers anything. Do you remember anything from when you were barely conscious? Oh, man. Anyways, Addy, what'd you do with your week?
Yeah, so all of that. And then also, I received a gift yesterday, which was a... So here's the thing. I need to...
Was it anthrax?
Not yet.
That'd be something. Yeah, I'm bedridden right now.
Yes, I'm dead. Yeah.
I don't think anthrax kills you. I think it just like severs like the nervous system somewhere in the neck, doesn't it?
I don't know. All I know is that it's pretty bad.
Yeah, it is.
But yeah, so I think I've told you all this story. But the reason I'm not really good about like comic book stuff and shit like that is because comic book stuff is usually not sold very well over here. Like, I remember around the time of the Civil War, the first one I think, or whichever one started with Spider-Man getting the Iron Spider suit, whichever Civil War that was. So
Civil War 1, yeah.
All right. So yeah, I actually bought the first issue of Civil War 1 because of Spider-Man. But then when it was like, oh, we're gonna be releasing comics monthly on the thing, and I went back the next month, and then there was no next issue, and then I went back the next month, and there was no next issue, and then I went back next month, and then I stopped going there. And that's basically how comics are distributed over here, because comics don't really sell as well, or sell well enough, I guess, because they're very expensive comparatively.
Yeah. They're comparatively expensive over here in the States, too, now.
But yeah, so... Because of that, the comics don't really... Like, I don't have a comic collection or whatever, and didn't really read a lot of comic stuff because of that growing up. So now, Marvel's taken to a different approach, and they are releasing them in books, more or less. They are making compilations of comic books and releasing them in these hardcover books that you need to subscribe for.
Trade paperbacks, yeah.
Yeah.
That's pretty well the way most people read comics now. In fact, it's kind of infamous in comic book writing. When they have like, most writers now write for the paperbacks. So where
writing
before
for the trade.
Before you used to buy a comic book issue and it'd be one contained story. Now it's one part of a 6-part story, right?
So that's why I didn't know why they kept going with the long stories in the recent comics I've read online.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense.
Like even just regular like Batman issues number 23 through 25 are part of a 3-part storyline. So if you bought Batman issue 24, get fucked. You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. And so I got one of those gifted because it was like they're doing this thing where you buy one for a relatively low price, and then you buy the next two for the same low price, and then you buy and for all the rest of the series you pay $20.
Yeah. They try to get you hooked with the Gateway comics.
Yeah, I mean I have to commend them. They are smart. Not with the first book, in my opinion, but that's just because I don't really I didn't really care for the first book's characters that they put out. But the second book is Spider-Man. The first one or the third one is Wolverine, and the third one, if you buy the second one, the third one is quote unquote free. So they are doing the advertisement right. I'll give them
What was
credit.
the first one?
The first one is Avengers.
Avengers. Oh,
Yeah.
what lineup? Because with Avengers, it
So
really
here's the
depends on
thing.
the lineup.
Here's the thing. The current thing that they're doing, at least over here, is Marvel's greatest superheroes is what they call the line. So it's not just a contained story. It's supposed to be a highlights of from judging from this thing that I have. It's a highlight of here's their first appearance. Here's their greatest story or one of their greatest stories, and that's about it. That's what you get. So I read Avengers, the first issue overall, and also
Oh boy.
what they called Avengers season or series 3, part or issues 0, 9, and 19 through 22, which is the first Avengers, as you can imagine, and for series 3, it's Thor, Iron Man, Hulk, Scarlet Witch, Vision. Let me open this up so I can look at her name because they were translated and I don't fucking remember.
Would this being early Avengers? It could have been like any number of weirdos, like fucking Moondragon.
No, this is not early. The third series is not early from the art
Oh, okay.
and the everything. It's the Ultron story. It's part of the Ultron saga. The story that the self-contained story that they put in.
Ultron saga. How many important Ultron stories have there been told? All I know is like the original one,
I can
the
look
one where he takes.
I can look at the original name because they have it hidden somewhere here.
Man, Tank, you remember the storyline where Ultron took over Tony's suit and then made him into a naked version of Janet?
Yep. That was a good issue.
What?
Where the fuck is it?
You sure about that?
I enjoyed it.
I actually don't. Was it genuinely good, or are you just memeing because they had naked Janet?
I'm memeing because they had naked Janet.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah, it's that was Mighty Avengers run. And
I think Ultron Unlimited is the name of the story.
Ultron Unlimited.
Yeah.
I've not heard of that storyline, but I don't know Avengers very well prior to Civil War, really.
Did you hear about Ultron Unlimited?
I don't think so.
Huh. All right,
Let me Google that.
There's this chick who looks like Jean Grey, but it's not Jean Grey.
Oh, this is 90s. No, 2001.
Oh, wow, that would have been one of the last storylines before Disassembled. Right?
Around that same time frame. Disassembled was 2004, I want to say.
Was this the storyline where Ultron becomes naked Janet?
No, this is the storyline.
No, that was after Civil War.
This is
okay.
This story is Ultron. Ultron gets a bunch of clones of himself, or makes a bunch of clones of himself, and like steals away Scarlet Witch and shit, and then dies.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
We would have words with thee.
Yeah, I can't do quotes from the comics because it was translated, and I don't like the translation. I'm gonna be honest.
Right.
But
so that was actually a classic there.
All right,
it's got,
I appreciate this then because I didn't know how much I liked the newer story, but or even the older one really. But the older one, I appreciate the art because it's fucking Jack Kirby, you know.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Early Avengers, like super early Avengers like that, though, would just be so weird because it's like Hulk's here. He won't be here the next issue, but Hulk's here.
Yeah. I mean,
And it's like,
yeah, go ahead.
oh no, go ahead.
And the rest of the series seems to be continuing this because the Spider-Man issue will have the first freaking if we have Amazing Fantasy 1 recolored is what they advertise it as, and then also some other stuff. So I may actually buy these. Like, I didn't like I just listed off the things that this book has in it to my mom, and she was like, you know what, maybe we'll subscribe. Maybe we can spend the $20 every month to get 2 books because that's how they do it. Or every 4 weeks. Did I say months? I probably said months.
Yeah.
See, I'm gonna also go ahead and say this: you can't really do a like best of Wolverine because you'd have to start with like the one part of Dark Phoenix.
Right.
Like,
right.
Logan was a lame ass character until Dark Phoenix. A lot of people forget about that, but his job was be the big dumbass that gets his ass kicked first.
Right.
So Pink, explain this because I have this one complaint. So I have this how they sell this is there's the actual book and there's this companion booklet where they have some comic book trivia for the characters and stuff like that, and also advertisement for subscribing to the series and stuff. When and why was Logan's name James Howlett?
Oh God!
That's
Is it
that's
ultimate?
something I don't want to talk about. So in early 2000s,
Is that an ultimate
they
thing?
decided to go ahead. What?
That is not an ultimate thing.
Okay.
It's canon. It's main universe.
Oh no!
Yep. Early 2000s, they decided to give Wolverine a concrete, quote-unquote, backstory. And that also involved them changing his name from just straight up Logan to James Howlett. And I hate everything about it, and I don't consider it canon because I have that luxury.
I agree with you because I looked at that and I was like, nope, you're wrong. This is wrong.
Yeah.
This is
That is false, my good sir.
yeah. Like I looked. Go ahead.
Wolverine is like Joker. He's more interesting when he's got not got one solid backstory, but just a lot of ideas.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it's like I've seen a thing like I've seen a thing. I was looking up Spider-Man for something, and I was like it was like alter egos and Peter Parker, and I go okay, and it goes Ben Reilly, and I go well you have a picture of Peter Parker Spider-Man, so it doesn't really fit, but I guess. So I was like maybe I was looking at this James Howlett name, and I'm like maybe it's an Ultimate Universe thing, or maybe it's one of those Ben Reilly things where it's like it's a clone of Logan that got its own freaking
right
personality, and then he's considered canon for some reason. But I guess not then.
Isn't Wolverine's brother that was like clearly like at first like the idea was he would be Sabretooth, but then they just cowered it out and made him a separate character? Isn't that character still running around?
Maybe? I don't remember.
Oh man, that was just so fucking stupid. Oh, did I ever mention to you guys that that Jeff who's the dipshit at DC whose name is Jeff something or other?
Jeff Johns.
Did I ever mention that Jeff Johns? It may be Jeff Johns. I actually can't remember. I think it's Jeff Johns. Gave Joker a concrete backstory with that fucking 3 Jokers storyline.
Why?
Mm-hmm.
And the concrete storyline is that Killing Joke is canon, which is not a surprise, but
Yeah,
Jeff Johns retconned it so that Joker was not a loving father. He was an abusive piece of shit. And Batman has always known who Joker was, and the stupidest of all, Joker's wife and baby from Killing Joke did not die. Batman faked their deaths and hid them away somewhere in Minnesota where they could live peacefully without him. And it's just like, what the fuck on so many levels?
I don't know what to say. Really? Especially since
Like,
even though Marvel puts out freaking like better content, and even though Spider-Man is my favorite superhero, I'm still more of a DC guy just because I know more DC stuff. But like, why?
it's Jeff Johns is a hack who thinks that he's genius for acknowledging the fact that he's read Alan Moore at some point, right?
Yeah.
Hey, look, guys, I read Alan Moore. But he also, in doing so, has ruined the second most popular Alan Moore storyline of all time.
Yeah, like one of the biggest things about the Killing Joke, one of the things that made it great, was the tragedy of the Joker, being an actually good person, and then tragedy happened, and then bad things happen to him, and then he breaks. That's the thing that sets him apart from Batman. And then like it's missing the point. It's missing the point on so many levels, though.
Yes, if Joker was always a bad person, then it loses the point of the character, which is to exist as a contrast to Batman, right?
Yeah.
They're both, like, the Killing Joke version of the Joker, like, Batman is a person who had something horrible happen to him and lost his family, and he turned out to be a good person anyways. Joker had something horrible happen to him, and he lost his family, and he became a horrible person. And with that, it's like, well, Bruce was always a good person and Joker was always a bad person, so they were always going to end up the way they are. And it's like, no, that's missing the fucking point of the story. What's great about Killing Joke is it says Batman worked to be a good person in spite of the horrible things that have happened to him. Oh. Pink is so disgusted, he's just logged off.
But anyway, to move on to nicer things, I guess, and back to the this booklet thing that I read. So, I want to discuss.
How do you feel about Iron Man's golden suit?
I was going to say, like, I actually got the booklet. The booklet thing they gave me is this gigantic ass poster with all of the Avengers on it, at least to date, and it has the designs from their first appearance, from what I can tell, which includes Iron Man's costume that looks like freaking if R2D2 and C3PO fucked.
Yeah. He made it in a cave with a box of scraps, don't you know?
Wait, why is the Mark 1 suit gold in the comics?
The Mark II
No,
is.
it was
Okay.
gray, but it turned gold in the issue following.
Okay, because him making an Iron Man suit out of gold in a cave doesn't make sense to me.
No, it doesn't. Yeah, the Viet Cong just had all that gold lying around, so.
Yeah.
It's fine. Don't worry about it.
It's okay. But yeah, so one of the biggest things I want to point out is how Avengers as a name has been translated. Like there's multiple things like this, but it's mostly related to Avengers stuff. So Avengers, in the movies, like there's no real Hungarian word with the same meaning as Avengers, so they were called the Revengers in the movies.
Yeah, that's close enough, really.
Yeah, I like that one. I wish they would have went with that one because the name they use for the comics is edgier. Because the Avengers in Hungary, from what I can tell, because of this issue, the Avengers, from what I can tell, in Hungary are called the Angels of Revenge. Which really, like when Captain America goes, angels roll out. It really just makes it seem like he's calling upon Charlie's Angels.
Yeah. What a bizarre, like, I know translation is difficult for some things, but what a bizarre choice.
I mean, Revengers works because Revengers still has the same meaning and stuff. I guess so does this, but it's like it's 2 steps removed, whereas Revengers is only like half a step removed.
Yeah.
But there's
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's be honest. The Avengers name didn't make much sense to begin with.
Right.
What are they avenging?
Yes. Loki. They're avenging Loki. I can make
Don't worry, Loki, we'll avenge you, and they just start beating the crap out of him.
Yeah, I can make these deep cut jokes because I have actually read the comics now. Hey.
Hey, yeah.
Man, Loki looked horrible.
Yeah.
Like not even his costume. I'm talking about his nose specifically. He had a really big nose.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm actually a big fan of the classic Loki costume. Like I get why he has the pimp coat now, because it allows him to keep the helmet without looking too ridiculous. But I'm a fan of the classic Loki costume.
I'm okay with the classic Loki costume. It's a freaking a product of its time, but it's okay. Like Loki doesn't look any more ridiculous than Iron Man, you know. so
You mean the fucking Iron Giant?
Yeah. I mean the freaking the cardboard robot. Painted with gold paint. But I liked how that comic was mostly just like people beating up Hulk, who is very confused and very sad, and then also Thor and Loki do their thing.
Yeah, Hulk is just sad in all those old comics. People always remember that Hulk mad, but no one remember that Hulk sad.
Yeah. One thing that I found really curious. I can never say curious on the first try, but yeah, like one thing that struck me about this first issue of Avengers is that Hulk spoke and he wasn't dumb, and that was really surprising to me because, like, I'm really used to modern Hulk being Hulk mad, Hulk smash. And like it's especially surprising because I don't like the Hulk because he is Hulk mad, Hulk smash. I like the versions of the Hulk where he retains at least some of his freaking brains so that he can at least you know speak.
The versions of Hulk that are smarter but are just dickheads are much more interesting.
Yeah.
Like the thing, what makes Hulk interesting is like the whole psychological thing of like wanting to be left alone and all that, and like angry Hulk can get that across sometimes, but more often than not, people just make it a screaming baby.
Yeah.
Which on some level, Hulk is supposed to be Bruce Banner's inner child, but like you can't simplify it too much, you know?
Yeah, because then it's literally just a big. It just becomes a big dude throwing a temper tantrum.
Yeah.
Uh,
With that said, it was pretty good in Endgame when they had them all go back to the past. And Hulk now, who is, you know, Smart Hulk, sees past angry baby Hulk stomping up and down on a minivan or something. And modern Hulk just face palms.
Yeah.
But I actually have more things to say about the other issue, because the first issue, like the first issue of Avengers. Oh yeah, right. The other thing I wanted to point out is that I don't see the point of Ant-Man and the Wasp like existing really in the team up, but like I guess they serve a purpose. It's not that they don't serve a purpose. They just didn't seem like that consequential to the entire thing.
Yeah, that's just. I would honestly say Hank and Janet were there more to be problems than to be help. Hank's never not been a problem. I love Hank being around because he is a problem, but
in both of these issues, in both of these stories that they put in, Hank is a problem, and he's not even an Avenger in the freaking the longer story.
Right.
So
yeah, that's just Hank. Like, I don't know who's worse. Hank, who, like, at least has the excuse of mental illness, but is a much more unpleasant person to be around than Janet, versus Janet, who's kind of unpleasant to be around in his way, really manipulative. And she's, unlike Hank, she's not mentally ill, so...
I mean, like, out of the stuff that I've seen Janet seems better just because, you know, she's getting abused and shit. At the same time, I have not read enough of the comics to actually know what she's like in the comics. Like in these stories, she's the better of the two, but that's 2 stories out of like 5 million. So,
right.
Yeah, I guess there's also like Janet is pretty competent, whereas Hank is really only good at building things that wind up being problems later, like Ultron.
Yeah,
right. Janet flip-flops a lot between writers. There are some stories where she'll be more or less on par with Captain America, and some where she's just a background nuisance. It's very inconsistent with her.
Yeah.
Hank, usually consistently terrible.
Yeah. I'm going to take a bet here. Pink, you're the bigger Marvel expert, especially when it comes to old Marvel. I want you to tell me whether I'm wrong or right here. I'm willing to take a bet here. Janet is probably at her most useless when she's written by Stan Lee.
Absolutely.
Yep, there we go. That good old Stan.
Yep.
Oh,
That is like
boy, is she like the entirety, the introduction, like you get the introduction for the Avengers in the first issue, which I think was written by Stan. I can actually take a look because they, like, kudos to Marvel, like pretty much 20% of the pages are just big pages filled with credits, but yes. So in the first issue of the Avengers, everyone gets an their own introduction for what they do. Hank and Janet are introduced bickering, with Hank being really misogynistic.
that's her superpower.
Yeah. Like, she, like, legitimately, I think Hank is introduced going, Janet, why do I have to wait so long for you? Why does every woman have to apply freaking makeup before the mission? Like, dude,
Right.
it's
right.
I know it's the 60s, but still, dude.
That's just the Stan style, let me tell you. Every time Stan wrote a teen book featuring a woman, like Fantastic Four understand Sue is useless. X-Men understand Jean Grey is useless. Stan Lee sucked at writing women.
Seems like it.
Like, he was just terrible at it.
All right,
Like,
I figured out one of the new characters in the 90s comic. One of the ones I don't know, a Firestar, I think.
Yes.
Yeah, and whoever her lover is, because like the way they translated the name, I have never heard anything even similar in English. Because I think, yeah, Law Champion is the name they gave to the other guy.
Law Champion. Who?
I like it.
I feel like I might figure that out.
It's a guy. It's a guy who looks kind of like Gambit, but has a star on his chest.
Shatterstar?
Maybe?
No. It's what's his face? I believe at the time he was Justice. I think he might have been Marvel Boy at one point. From the New Warriors.
Oh wow, yeah, New Warriors. That's outside of my realm.
Yeah, I think both of these are characters from New Warriors.
Yep.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Vance Astrovic.
Yeah, him.
Oh, I've heard of Vance Astrovic. Yes, okay.
He's completely useless. He is the new Hank. At least he's not misogynistic though.
Did he get killed by the blow up guy?
No, he's not Yamcha yet. Oh, you mean later? Think. Oh, he's dead.
Killed by who?
The guy who blows up. I don't remember what other powers he has.
Oh, Nitro. No, I don't think. No, definitely not. Because Vance played a role in the Avengers Initiative, which came after Civil War, almost directly after it. So he was definitely alive for that. I think.
Really? The only major character that Nitro killed there was Namor's sister, wasn't it?
Yep, Namorita. Night Thrasher, if anyone remembers him.
Wait, I thought Night Thrasher was still alive.
He's been resurrected recently.
That makes sense.
He's one of the ones that went out in the Nitro explosion. Those are the only two, I want to say, noteworthy characters that actually got taken out in that blast. The only ones that immediately come to mind.
Yeah, Nitro is one of those weird characters where, like, he almost never pops up, but every time he pops up, he does something important, so...
Right. Those are the guys you really gotta look out for, I guess.
Yeah, he is Marvel's Psycho Pirate. In the same way, he's the only one who's a Psycho Pirate at major fucking events. Also, did Wolverine kill Nitro?
Yeah, wait. I want to say yes, but I'm actually not sure about that now.
Because I do remember
He
Wolverine was
definitely
the only.
tried.
I definitely remember Wolverine was the only one who was smart enough to actually be like, "Hey, wait, guys, shouldn't we actually deal with the guy who nuked the fucking village?"
Right, I think during the Civil War storylines, I believe Wolverine was not a part of any of that conflict and instead went to kill Nitro.
Yeah. Which, of course, also ties into the bigger bullshit of the X-Men altogether refusing to take part in the Civil War. And it's like, what the fuck?
Hold up.
Seems...
Yeah, that's rather important. You can't segregate your way out of this one.
Yeah. Well, oh, you know what it was? Emma was in charge of the X-Men at that time.
Ah!
That's the easiest explanation. Get fucked.
But
I like to imagine that Pink's just got hung up on his wall, that one comic where Kitty Pryde just beats the shit out of Emma.
It's framed.
we all do.
The frame is made out of gold and platinum.
No, diamond!
Diamond, yeah.
Yeah, we melted
Just
down
for the irony.
we melted down our gold or diamond play button so that we can make a frame.
That's not how diamonds work.
It is now. But yeah. So
She melted down the frame from the hand she took from Emma as a trophy. Oh, just keep going. Just keep going.
all right. So yeah, my opinions on Firestar and Vance, whose name I lost champion. I don't know what to call him. But yeah, like in my opinion on these characters, as characters that I have never seen before, is that Firestar is just Jean Grey without the psychic powers, and Vance is useless.
Yeah.
So, like,
I've had limited exposure to Firestar as a character. That sounds accurate.
I mean, I looked at this cover because they have the cover of the '90s story as the main cover of the book, and I looked at it and I was like, that's a curious outfit for Jean Grey, but it's probably Jean Grey because it looks very much like Jean Grey, and I mean she works like Jean Grey too. So hey,
Yeah.
I was kind of right.
Yeah, it's actually very close to Phoenix, now that you mention it.
Is Firestar not just a gender-flipped Human Torch?
More or less. They've said the official canon, I want to say, is that she doesn't actually create flames or anything like that. She creates microwaves.
Yeah.
Oh, see, you said that. My brain didn't go, oh, well, she, like, partically creates microwaves. I was imagining her power is literally just that she creates microwave ovens.
Firestar's
Microwave oven generator. Yes, you like it.
Firestar's superpower is that she works a 9-to-5 job in a factory where she assembles microwaves.
I was imagine it more like Gary's mod, just spawning a prop in.
I mean, I feel
Like
like
she doesn't even motion. It's just like she thinks about it in the microwave, just ploops in the air and falls.
yeah. She needs the microwave so she can make more Tesla coils.
Yeah.
But yeah, one of my biggest pet peeves with the 90s comic with Ultron is Captain America's shield. He doesn't have one. Well, he kind of does, but he doesn't really.
It's the energy shield, right?
Yes, it sucks.
Yeah.
It's very bad.
Nobody likes the energy shield.
Okay, good.
And going back just a couple seconds, the reason Firestar is a gender-flipped Human Torch is because she was created for a television show that
Spider-Man and his
could
amazing
not.
friends.
Yeah, that could not feature Human Torch because they didn't have the rights to him at that time.
Which is why the Fantastic Four cartoon around that time replaced Human Torch with Herbie. Or Hubie,
Indeed.
whatever his name is.
Yep, Herbie.
Yeah. That, I definitely remember
car?
that. 'Cause yes, the fucking car. It couldn't even fit in the fucking Baxter building. It tried, though. It ran over poor Willie Lumpkin. He's dead.
R.I.P. Willie. You're a great service to your country.
The smear is still in the hallway.
Anyway, continue.
This is the idea of the Fantastic Four replacing Johnny with a car that murders people. My special power is murder.
The Punisher.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Oh, that was nasty. Oh, I need to step back.
My joke was too real. Davia needs a second. So yeah, the energy shield sucks. I don't know why they did it. It was a bad idea. It removes like the one interesting thing about Cap.
Yep.
Because like the thing with the Avengers for me is that I don't like most of the Avengers because they don't seem like interesting characters. They didn't seem like interesting characters in the comics, and the movies the movies are okay, but you know it's a thing of like I'm more interested in Spider-Man because Spider-Man is interesting, I guess.
The thing with early Avengers that's supposed to make them interesting is that they're all pieces of shit. Like, Thor's probably the least shitty person out of the Avengers, and he's still a raging egomaniac.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, Tony is lucky that Hank is there.
Yeah, you don't need to talk about Tony, I know.
Like, even Cap, I love Cap, but Cap also, Cap's a good person when they bring him around, but Cap's still a stubborn asshole. And didn't Cap also get with Janet?
I kind of want to say maybe.
I know that they definitely got together in Ultimate, but in the main 616, I feel like Janet got with all of the male members of the team except Thor.
Possible, very possible.
Hell, in what was it? In Secret Wars, she got with Magneto.
Yeah, she did.
If there's something that never fails to amuse,
I guess everyone's big when you're that size.
Yeah. Oh no! Oh man! Fucking. Was that the same storyline where Ultron became Naked Janet? Was also the storyline where they revealed that Hank and Janet have sex by Hank shrinking and then just going down there?
No.
That was
actually written by Jeff Johns, our boy.
Oh man, I was really hoping that was the same author because then we could just say that author is way too horny for Janet.
No, the Naked Janet was Bendis, I want to say.
Oh, wow. Bendis and Johns, the fucking all-star duo.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yes, speaking of Bendis, there's this addendum or whatever, there's this page at the end of this booklet where they go, hey, if you like the Avengers or like these stories, here's a couple of the assorted Avengers stories that you may also like, and there's also top 5 best of Avengers issues that they put up. And number 5 is Avengers Disassembled, which over here was called Avengers Chaos. Or well, Ages of Revenge Chaos. And I just and I look at this and I saw Brian Michael Bendis. And I see Brian Michael Bendis and I just left.
Yeah.
That is the correct reaction.
That's like, I don't know why you would say Avengers Disassembled is one of their best storylines, really. It's just kind of like Things Get Worse, the comic book.
Right.
Like, every page is like suddenly like, oh yeah, and this suddenly happens too. Oh my god. A thought just occurred to me. Is Avengers Disassembled just straight up the Avengers version of whatever happened to the Man of Tomorrow, Pink? Because whatever happened to the Man of Tomorrow can be summarized as a storyline as Mixie's Pitlick goes evil and makes everything Superman's life go steadily worse, including all of his villains going psycho. Avengers Disassembled is just Wanda goes evil and makes everything go wrong in the Avengers' life and makes their other villains go psycho.
Now that you mention it, yeah.
They're the same story.
Too similar, yeah. That's plagiarism right there.
Yeah. Oh my god, he just straight up ripped it off. Boy. Except the Wanda reveal isn't nearly as cool as the Mixie's Pitlick reveal. Because Wanda doesn't turn into a weird fucking 5-dimensional monster thing.
Yet.
Yeah.
But yeah, the number one best Avengers story according to Marvel, or at least according to the part of Marvel that approved this book, is Under Siege, which I wouldn't know.
Under Siege?
Yeah.
Under Siege. What is Under Siege? I don't remember.
Roger Stern and John Buscema. Zemo is in it. Apparently.
Zemo. Shit, I don't remember.
I'm gonna Google that because I don't remember.
It seems like an
I would have
older.
assumed Acts of Vengeance, but Under Siege.
Judging by the logo, it seems like an older story.
It might have been back from when Helmut was a Nazi.
Book by Roger Stern.
Yeah, I don't know. They don't really like. It's just after Zemo was defeated, he gathered up the Sinister Six pretty much to put Avengers Tower under siege. Cool.
Oh, I've never heard of it, but it does sound like a fun storyline.
Like it's not the actual Avengers the Avengers Six. No, the Sinister Six. It's just they just say he gathered up a team of the evil people. But yeah.
That might have been the debut story of the Masters of Evil.
Possibly.
Can I just say I hate that name, Masters of Evil? That's so fucking stupid.
I love it because it's so stupid.
Like, they've tried to play it off as like, oh, Doom made it up to, like, make fun of how the Avengers think he's evil, but he's actually good. And it's like, no, that's still stupid.
Boy,
Hitler called himself evil to be ironic. No?
That's another thing that I actually want to complain about with the localization. How the names are changed. Like there were localizations from when I was growing up that have changed since then. Like Wolverine is now just straight up translated to Wolverine instead of his old name of just being Wolf. Here's the issue: Wolverine. Nobody uses the name Wolverine for even Wolverines in Hungary, from what I can tell. Aside from like when you actually talk about scientific shit.
Well, it makes it distinctive, I guess.
What do you call them? Do you call them anything? Because you don't really have to worry about those.
That's the thing. Like it's a rarely used word, so it seems weird when people use it.
I don't think Wolverines even exist anywhere outside North America. You guys get badgers. And
what are
Wolverines? They're mustelids.
I mean, here in Hungary, at least locally, we get foxes and boars, and that's about it.
Oh shit! I'll take Wolverines over boars.
Right.
Yeah, so sadly the boars are a lot more keen of coming into the city than the foxes are. I mean, both are freaking both are very deadly and shit. But like, I would pet a fox if it was gnawing off my legs. I might as well.
Right. I'll tolerate a fox's existence. If a boar comes rolling up, I'm running away. I'm moving out. That's his turf now.
Yeah, boars suck.
Did either of you guys ever see that video of, like, there was just a beach where people were just, like, lounging and swimming and so on, and just suddenly out of the water, I don't know where it was, but suddenly out of the water charges this boar that starts running after the people on the beach.
I've never seen that, but I need to now.
Like, nobody even sees where the boar comes from in the water. It's like the boar was fucking aquatic and suddenly decided, actually, fuck these people.
That's how boars work.
That boar was actually just a very strange land shark.
Yeah. I mean, okay, I know we're talking about actual real life boars, but that's I guess I have to compliment Assassin's Creed Odyssey on that one, because boars are the worst enemies in Assassin's Creed Odyssey, right? Which I mean, like, boars are the actual like boars are the antagonists of Assassin's Creed Odyssey, not the actual antagonist. Not
the Templars.
Yeah, the boars have done more damage than the Templars. I'm pretty sure. But yeah, boars are scary. Anyway, comic books.
Yes.
So yeah, I may talk more about comic books in the coming months, depending on whether or not I actually subscribe to this thing that they have going, because it would be nice to have at least the first issue of Spider-Man. Like I wouldn't mind that.
Yes, but first issue of Spider-Man. Does he actually fight any villains in the first issue of Spider-Man, or is it
Probably
just his
not.
origin story?
Just his origin.
I guess that makes sense.
Yeah, that's why. Like my thing is that, like, like if I'm buying the second book of this series, then I'm gonna get it because it has the origin of Spider-Man and also like some story. I hope like the funniest thing they could do, honestly, with the Spider-Man book is have the first issue of Spider-Man, and then for the self-contained story, it's the fucking Clone Saga, both because of the gall and just because of the sheer length.
Yeah, I was about to say.
Like,
I think you could make 3 books out of the fucking Clone Saga.
That took course over years, genuine years.
And over multiple comic lines, right?
Indeed. Yeah,
That
like
would be
4
like
or 5 maybe.
That'd be like a dozen fucking paperbacks.
Sensational, amazing, web of.
Boy,
If somebody were to try and make a trade paperback version of the complete Clone Saga, it'd be like a big ass fucking encyclopedia.
Right.
Yeah,
Spectacular. That's the 4th one.
That's why
And it still wouldn't make any sense.
It's just the Clone Saga, though.
Oh man, like I'd like to see some writer just like make a like fucking abridged version of the Clone Saga that cuts out 99% of the bullshit. It's just showing the origins of Ben Reilly and Kane. And it's like, there you go. That's all you need.
And then for good measure, we also shove in Silk.
Yeah.
I don't think
Silk is just the one you see in the background.
Yeah.
I've always wanted to see a
Silk
Wolverine story.
Was Silk even Clone Saga? I don't think she was. I think she came after.
No, she's very recent.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's very, very recent. I would like to see like someone do like a version of the Wolverine origin again, where in the background you can see like Deadpool and X-23 in test tubes. That'd be neat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah. So depending on whether or not to actually get the next freaking parts, the next parts are as I've said, Spider-Man and Wolverine, and then the ones after that are Black Widow and Hawk. Which I don't know why those two were paired, but I guess they were in a relationship at one point, so hey.
No, they were not. Shut up. I don't think there's storylines you can do for Widow. Like, I understand wanting to throw a female superhero in there, but Marvel's got better ones to do than that.
I mean, I think they're trying to capitalize off of the MCU with Widow, at least.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but fuck, you could do better. Like, you could probably do a better Scarlet Witch compilation than you could Black Widow.
I wouldn't know.
That's a good point.
Like, I wouldn't know. At the same time, Scarlet Witch does seem to be the more complex, more interesting character than Black Widow. I'm not gonna lie.
Natasha is in this weird spot where she's this surface level character, but at the same time, like, they wanted to have a woman on the Avengers at the founding, and I guess they didn't want to do Wasp either because they thought she'd be too lame or because they wanted to do Ant-Man independently later on. And they just needed a hero who could be shoved out without their own solo movie, so it just went to Natasha because she's not got anything going on. Like, the full extent of Natasha in the comics really just is entirely, will she betray the team? Will she not? Which is not how the movies do her at all. In the movies, she's probably the most reliable one of the Avengers.
Yeah.
Ironically.
Yeah.
Oh, that's another thing that I wanted to point out. There's multiple references in the 90s comic, at least, to Hawkeye. And also, like, all of the issues end with a picture that has Hawkeye in them. Hawkeye is freaking Hawkeye is starring Sir not appearing in this movie.
Yeah.
Because he was off with the West Coast Avengers by this point.
Yeah. Oh man. That's kind of sad though, because Hawkeye's my favorite. Damn it.
Hawkeye's probably my favorite Avenger just because he's shittier Green Arrow.
How dare you?
I mean, I haven't read enough Hawkeye to actually know how the freaking details to their differences.
Excuse me, according to JLA/Avengers, Hawkeye is the better archer. Which, I mean, when you think about it, in terms of, like, power dynamics, it makes sense that Clint should be the better archer, because Oliver's fucking rich.
Yeah.
He doesn't need to be that good at archery, he can just pay for it.
Yeah. Oliver paid for the freaking self-correcting the bow. Someone actually made that. No, someone actually made that IRL.
Jesus.
Yeah, it's not a thing that you could actually use, like, realistically, but like you can. They just proved you can make a self-correcting bow that no matter how off you shoot, it does its best to make it so you hit a bullseye.
Ah!
But yeah. And from what they advertised, they want this to be 120 books long. This series.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Are they planning to hit every fucking Marvel property? Like, watch out! Here comes the limited edition fucking best of Fool Killer.
Possibly. I was going to say, oh, freaking some obscure hero that I know, but I actually don't know that many obscure Marvel heroes.
Yo, where's my best of Pace Pop Pete at?
All right, I'm gonna put the actual like legal logistics stuff aside. Like, I really want Marvel to do the absolute biggest dick job and just release the best of Booster Gold, even though it's not their property. Just do it.
I love it.
I want it.
Well, the thing is, because of JLA/Avengers, they are ultimately coexistent universes, so... And Booster Gold wasn't in JLA/Avengers, wasn't he?
Is JLA/Avengers the one where Wolverine became Batman?
No, that's...
No, that was Amalgam.
So what is JLA/Avengers then?
Their universes collide for a little bit, and like the DC heroes go to the Marvel universe, the Marvel heroes go to the DC universe, then they meet and they have to team up to fight that one...
Dark Khan.
Not Dark Khan, no! Shit, wasn't it one of the, like, the guard, like, one of the Green Lantern things went rogue? Or something like that? Krona or something like that?
Right.
Yeah, and they wound up beating him, and they got the Cosmic Egg, which I think the Avengers still have in the comics.
The Avengers looked at the Justice League and went, "You will give me an egg!"
Yeah, pretty much. The best thing about the comic, though, is, like, they acknowledge how, like, the civilians are entirely different from Marvel to DC. So when Captain Marvel crosses over to the DC universe and he sees how much civilians in the DC universe love their heroes and have monuments to them, Captain America is like, clearly the superheroes in this universe have installed a fascist dictatorship. And I think Superman determines from the fact that the Marvel civilians hate their heroes so much, he's like, well, clearly these guys have to be assholes.
So
logical.
Is this thing even canon though? Well, I suppose it is because they still have the egg, but yeah.
I believe that everything in JLA Avengers is considered canon.
Yes, and it also started one of Vision's major character arcs. I don't remember what, but it was a major character moment for Vision, I think.
Right.
And they are going. I may even get to read that then, because they are going to have to do the Vision compilation if they want to do all of the MCU characters first.
There's no way. I don't think Marvel and DC are willing to distribute it now. Because I've always wanted to read JLA Avengers, and I've never had the ability to either. So, you know. And I feel like they still have it, like, Marvel and DC have also been just playing weird with each other for the past couple of years.
Yeah, I remember that one panel where they showed up the different Captain Marvels, and one of them was DC.
Yeah, and they had another one where they showed, like, all the wielders of Mjolnir, and for a second they pass over both Superman and Wonder Woman. Even though I don't think Wonder Woman ever actually got Mjolnir. No, Wonder Woman did get Mjolnir when they did Justice League when they did Marvel versus DC.
Mm-hmm.
So they're actually counting that as canon too, that Wonder Woman had Mjolnir at some point.
But wait,
what the fuck?
When did they do that? Like, was it in a movie?
No.
Okay.
At one point, there was a comic book where there were two godchildren who were arguing whether Marvel or DC was stronger. So they had a bunch of Marvel and DC heroes fight.
Oh no, I don't mean that. I mean, when did Marvel acknowledge Wonder Woman having Mjolnir?
Oh, I don't know. I think it would have been some moment in recent comics, like probably regarding Jane Foster, because it was like a page of them just showing a panel of each person holding Mjolnir, and of course for
Okay.
Superman and Wonder
Right.
Woman, they couldn't show the symbols, but they did show the person with a costume in their hand holding Mjolnir.
Yeah.
Wonder Woman getting Mjolnir makes way more sense than Superman, really.
A little bit.
Because, like, isn't part of the thing with Mjolnir that you need to be willing to kill, which is why Spider-Man can't hold Mjolnir?
Right.
Like, Superman's not willing to kill. Why was he able to pick Mjolnir up?
Injustice is canon.
I guess. And
Oh.
Diana doesn't give a fuck. She'll kill anyone.
Yeah. Diana isn't paid enough to care.
Yeah. I always love the emotionless face she had when she snapped Maxwell Lord's neck. Oh, man. Oh, so what else did you do this week, Addy?
I think that may be all. I just
3 hours later. Holy
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah, I mean, the funny thing is, I got this book. It's 6 comics. I got this book yesterday. I've read all of them by today morning because
Yeah.
the thing is, I don't read a lot of stuff. Like overall, I don't really read books or comics or whatever. But when I read, I'm actually a speed reader. So like I finished the Assassin's Creed novelizations, or around 200 to 300 pages long, most of them really, and I read through all of the ones I own in a month. Similarly, I read through all of JoJo parts 6 and 7 in like a month and a half or 2 months, and that's 200 to 300 issues. So yeah.
I imagine speed reading is going to get to be a really common talent, like, nowadays, isn't it?
Probably, yeah.
But, anytime we talk about wrestling, comics, or Assassin's Creed, it leads to a fucking 5-hour discussion without fail.
What to discuss with those?
Yeah,
So,
right, really what we should have done is we should have invited Mike on the start of the comics discussion.
Ah,
I'm
Just
almost
force him into the
inclined to
call.
I'm almost inclined to say, like, if there was more time in the day, I almost feel like we could do wrestling and comic book podcasts.
right, absolutely.
The only trouble is that I feel like then we'd have to actually like start reading comic books and watching wrestling
we
again.
need to start reading wrestling and watching comic books again.
I mean, that's still kind of accurate.
Kind of. I mean, the issue with both of those is that, like, for example, with me, the issue with doing either of those podcasts is that I don't have an easy way to watch wrestling. I don't have an easy way to read comic books. So
Is Read Comics Online not still running?
I'm pretty sure it's filled with malware, which is why I stopped using it.
Ah, okay. Yeah, what was I going to say? Yeah, realistically speaking, like I think the smartest way of going about doing a wrestling podcast nowadays, with wrestling not being very exciting nowadays, is just to do the OSW thing. Pick a show and then focus on that. It would be interesting to see someone try and do that with comics, but I feel like they'd have to do it with broader storylines, because a wrestling show is like 2 hours long, whereas your average comic issue is what, 30 pages?
Right.
Yeah. And some of the stuff, like, you'd have to do just an episode for, like, Preacher, but Preacher is, like, not one storyline, but, like, one big definitive series.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's some series like that, you know?
Yep.
Nonetheless, I feel like this is just spitballing here, and I have no intention of actually starting a comic book podcast, but I feel like we could do something like where we just have, like, oh, here we're talking about Civil War. Oh, this time we're talking about the Skrull-Kree War. Oh, this time we're talking about, Infinite Crisis, and so on.
Yeah.
And probably more time devoted to, like, individual solo storylines, not just the big crossovers, because big crossovers will get tired eventually, because they tend to boil down to the same thing.
Yep.
In this comic book podcast, we discussed that time that fool killed Carnage with dubstep. That is actually one of the comics I've read.
But we could do one like for the later run of Deadpool, like the Deadpool Redemption run.
Yeah. The good one that was written by Captain Hydra.
Yeah, the one that I would say, like, we could do an episode for just the Deadpool run between Axis and Secret Empire. Oh man, like, you want to talk about having one where we just talk about a shitty event. Imagine one for Secret Empire. This ruined at least 3 characters. It may ruin more in the future. Let's see.
I still want, like, now that the MCU's cap is gone, I really want them to bring Chris Evans back as Captain Hydra. Just to be like Jake, no, I have the perfect plan. Phase 4. I think we're in Phase 4. We get both One More Day and Captain Hydra.
Oh no!
I don't know who else you can fuck up in this phase.
Okay, I could accept doing Captain Hydra if it turns out that there's like an alternate inverted morality universe made by Mephisto, where Captain America's a Nazi and Spider-Man sacrifices his wife to the devil and other bullshit.
Yeah, that could work, but no, I want these to be separate storylines. Completely separate storylines, just so they won't make sense. Like one of the events of the phase is Peter hits the reset button because he doesn't want a kid. He makes Mephisto cast Fetus Deletus or Mary Jane, and then
not even like Aunt May getting shot. It's just that Spider-Man wants an abortion.
Yeah. And then completely separately later, like I guess because of the universe reset, you could make it that. Because of the universe reset, something happens, and Captain America just becomes a fucking Nazi for some reason. And this would ruin so many things, because it would ruin Spider-Man, it would ruin Captain America, it would ruin Deadpool again because he's getting a 3rd movie, and it will be in Phase 4. Just quickly throw together a Punisher series so he can be ruined too.
Was Thor not also on the Hydra side?
I don't know.
God, what the fuck? Like, just... I can understand why DC was eventually like, fuck it, just reset everything.
Yeah, we could use a global reset button, really. Like,
the trouble is
not even a hard reset. Just do
storylines, and the real trouble is undoing character development.
Yeah,
it feels shitty to undo character development. Trying to undo bad storylines is understandable, which is why we're seeing now, like, every storyline you didn't like about Spider-Man was actually Mysterio. Ooh.
Yeah. Like, I wouldn't hate a soft reset, at least on some characters, because they just seem too far gone.
Oh my god, what if it turns out Mysterio not only made Mephisto appear as Spider-Man, but also has been secretly raising Peter and Mary Jane's baby? And somehow,
the baby has a small Mysterio costume because he raised him like Terry does Rock.
Mysterio was the midwife for Mary Jane's birth that she didn't even know was happening.
Mysterio does a reverse flash. You remember that time? You remember that time Mary Jane kissed you and you came, Peter? It was me. I jerked you off, Peter.
Oh my god! Yeah, Peter never even got Mary Jane pregnant. Yeah, that's what happened. Sure. The pregnancy was an illusion. At what point is the entire Marvel Universe an illusion?
Already.
Like, there's just Steve Rogers and Tony Stark and Peter Parker are just normal dudes sitting in a room who think they're superheroes and Mysterio's doing all this.
Yeah, they're just tripping out and Mysterio's their dealer.
Oh, this is definitely some person's fanfic that they think is really deep.
Yep.
Oh man!
But then Mysterio takes off the mask and it's Rey Mysterio, and they do a crossover with WWE. And Dominic sucks even in the comics.
Dominic is. Eddie never died. That was just a trick played by Rey Mysterio. What? Man, I would pay good money to see Mysterio try and Rey Mysterio try and wrestle with the fishbowl head.
No, he has the fishbowl head, but he has us all. He has us. He like there's a Rey Mysterio mess duct tape to the top because he couldn't fit it. Shit.
Just flopping around lazily on a bad duct tape job. He can't even see half the time.
No, because the smoke machine, the smoke goes in his eyes. He's crying. He can't even move. I'm crying too.
He just fucking Titus O'Neil's his way under the ring during his entrance and stays there.
Yeah.
Titus O'Neil?
I think he's gone. I think they fired him.
No,
No,
was
he's
that
still
Titus
around.
O'Neil that went under the ring?
Yes.
Okay, I thought I was going crazy. Oh man, what? Fucking Titus couldn't do anything right, could he?
Not really. No. He could bark okay.
Oh man. Shit. Oh yeah.
So, yeah,
Did I do anything this week? I don't think I
Did you?
I really just did more of the same. So the really only notable thing is that I was playing a bit of TF2 against bots, and I log off, and the next day I see big news story. The two most popular mods for Team Fortress 2 are Team Fortress 2 Classic, which gets rid of all hats and unlockable weapons and reverts the weapon stats back to vanilla, which is fucking crazy. And the other one is Open Fortress, which I do not know what the fuck it is. I clicked on their Twitter account and I just saw a bunch of weird memes.
I think
I don't know what it is.
I think Open Fortress is a map.
But it, like, introduces new classes? Like, it brings
Maybe?
back the civilian? But either which way,
Go ahead.
at the same time, both of the mods, the makers of the mods, announced, hey, we're shutting down the download pages for our mods. We've made an agreement with Valve. You should be very excited. There's something big coming. And this after TF2 receiving no real updates for like 3 or 4 years. So my stand is kicked in again.
Yeah. Team Fortress 3 is happening, but it's only VR.
Whoa.
Can I just say, I like that Valve's new thing is apparently we're not going to bother updating Left 4 Dead or Team Fortress. We're just going to get the community to do it.
Yeah.
I kind of like that, though, because at least if Valve is admitting we don't have the manpower to do that anymore, our teams are currently devoted to maintaining Dota and Counter-Strike. Yeah, I'm cool with community updates if it's like the alternative to no updates at all, you know?
Yeah. I mean, it works for Darkest Dungeon. Every month, the devs just release something saying, hey, this is a cool mod, try it out.
Yeah.
And then they leave.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. I like that a lot. There is on it, like, I have the same, like, there are a lot of games where, I mean, Skyrim is now turning out to be the biggest example because there's going to be that re-release that makes 500 mods official. Like, fucking what? But, man, I can't wait for real Skyrim horse sticks to be official.
I can't wait. I can't wait for anime Booba to be official. You should. By the way, W, you should really call Booba. She's crying.
What?
That was a meme recently.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the Yogscast member. I was like, what? What are you talking about?
I didn't know there was a Yogscast member named Booba, but okay. What we know is that we don't really want to go to the Booba zone, though.
Oh, no. I hope one of the mods is that, like, as soon as you spawn in, Alduin, like, just stop, like, pick some of the stupid dipshit joke mods. Like, not only is Alduin now Thomas the Tank Engine.
No. Alduin is the Macho Man.
Alduin is Macho Man. The other dragons are Thomas the Tank Engine. There we go.
Yes.
And they, like, just like, oh, hey, the entirety of Whiterun has now been replaced with a big pile of cheese wheels and copies of the Lusty Argonian Maid. Okay.
Yeah, you can also ultimately spawn in hordes of exploding chickens.
And they've also implemented the new races for the mods, like the Sanic race.
Yeah, I mean, look, if they add in a freaking or race thing that's just a werewolf at the start, then I'll probably go with that instead of Khajiit this time because hey, makes my life easier.
Man, I straight up actually do hope that one of the mods that they make official is that one that makes vampires and werewolves not suck mechanically.
Ah, yeah, that too.
The one problem is that one that made werewolves not suck mechanically also made it where werewolves can dynamically spawn anywhere in Skyrim.
Ah.
And werewolves are like the baddest motherfuckers in Tamriel, so that's rough.
Yep. Sounds like it.
Just casually strolling through Skyrim and you just see the Hulk in wolf form barreling towards you at top speed, you know.
Yeah. and then you try to run away, to turn around and freaking come out the tank engine with murder in his eyes. Swoops in.
And the sky is also on fire, you know.
Yeah.
And slowly the screen just transitions into the big words. This big letters, 4 letters, CHIM. Oh, man. I'll send that video to you, adding some time.
Alright. But yeah, like, also while all of this is going on, Smash Mouth is playing in the background.
Yeah.
But it's just the loop of so much to do, so much to see.
Or just make it where like the opening bit plays every time you open a door.
The opening bit plays whenever you get knocked out.
Oh man.
Freaking. I'm trying to think of like mods that actually could be good for them to make official with Skyrim. They could make a couple of mods. Like, I don't know if they exist, but if there are mods that make the combat mechanic better, they should make those official.
Yeah, actual gameplay mod. Oh, yeah. Interesting.
Also, like, I would find it really generous of them if they made Skywind and freaking
No way. There's no way.
What was the other one? Skyblivion? Was that the name of it?
Yeah, Skyblivion and Skywind. I don't have either of those projects finished.
I don't think so. I think Skywind is. I think last I checked, which was 2 years ago, I think. But Skywind was 40% done, and Skyblivion was 20% done. So it's gonna be a while.
Oblivion's map is a bit bigger than Morrowind's.
Yeah. But like if freaking, I really called Bethesda Valve. Wow. if Bethesda
Valve that severely.
Yeah. But like if they
actually knew I'd beat you with a rubber hose.
I mean, he still may.
Yeah, true.
But yeah, like that would be rather generous of them if they did it, Bethesda.
I feel like the easiest one to go with would just be like that immersive armors mod that just adds a bunch of samurai armors.
Yeah.
See, okay, the actual hype one would be if there was like a race mod that adds all the like the races of Skyrim that are less mentioned, like snow elves and the Akaviri. That would be sick.
Yeah. Although aren't snow elves extinct words?
There is one snow elf left in the entirety of Skyrim who is not degenerated. You meet him at the end of the Dawnguard DLC.
All right.
He's pretty cool, actually. Oh, man.
Pink doesn't know what we're talking about because he hasn't either played Skyrim or watched like 5 million hours of Skyrim lore like I did.
See, that's always the thing with Elder Scrolls. Like, I liked my time with Morrowind, but I did not get much done, and I eventually just wound up walking away. Maybe I'll go back someday. But like, Elder Scrolls lore is way cooler than the actual fucking games.
Yeah, like I played Morrowind, I played Oblivion, and I played Skyrim. I played the most of Oblivion. I played 10 minutes of Skyrim. I played an hour and a half of Morrowind. Wait. Yes, I think I said that right. Okay.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and like I can tell you, Oblivion was an okay game for its time and all, but I didn't really enjoy it. Actually playing it too much. But then I like look into this small like freaking like background character from one of the series, and they have this all of this like freaking the guy in the video is like, oh, he sleeps in this inn because he can afford it because he's rich, and this is the reason he's rich. And how do we know? Because the game actually shows you if you spend like, I don't know, 5 million hours just following people like a creepy stalker. But the games aren't
Fucking
really
hard cut,
yeah.
fucking hard cut to Morrowind, where the NPCs just walk back and forth endlessly until the end of time.
Yeah. But like, you know, I wish the actual games were good and interesting as well, not just the world.
Yeah. Elder Scrolls needs a spin-off made by a dev team that is not in-house Bethesda.
The Elder Scrolls needs a spin-off by Capcom, made by Kamiya.
That would actually be kind of sick.
I don't know how he'd do it, but I can see Kamiya just going making freaking like some Devil May Cry work somehow with Elder Scrolls.
Yeah. We need Elder Scrolls New Vegas.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, that's pretty well all I did in my week, honestly. Like, I did a lot of dicking around with that Divide and Conquer mod again, but there was nothing really particularly notable about that, other than, I guess, me learning a bit of Tolkien lore, which is cool. Not a whole lot of particularly new stuff, though, other than just a couple funny bits about Tolkien himself. Like, you know, Tolkien never could figure out where the hell orcs came from.
Yeah.
Like, he just never figured it out before he died.
I mean, the thing. Yeah, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
I was just going to say the thing I read went that like he put up multiple theories as to where the orcs came from, and that's where they left it. But like, considering the multiple theories, that probably means he never found it out.
Yeah. The current prevalent one is that one of his notes before he died says that they were made by they were elves who were corrupted by Sauron's god. But then Tolkien wrote a note on the side of the note saying, I should get rid of this, orcs shouldn't be elves.
Nice. I really liked his letter to the freaking the German publisher house.
Yeah, that one's a classic.
Yeah.
If you're asking if I'm Jewish, the answer is no, but I wish I was, because Jewish people are awesome.
And you suck.
Also, you guys aren't arrogant.
Yeah.
Oh, man. And when World War II was still like going on, he wrote a letter saying that he wishes that he was young enough to serve in the war so he could go kill Hitler.
I don't doubt him.
It reminds me of Jack Kirby making the Captain America propaganda comics, but not being satisfied with that, deciding I'm actually going to quit my comic artist job for a little bit and go actually serve in the war.
Captain America is cool, but you know what's cooler? Being Captain America, and then he just leaves.
Did Kirby and Tolkien die pretty well around the same time? Like late 70s, early 80s?
No. When did Tolkien die?
Oh, Tolkien was late 70s. I guess Kirby would have died in the 90s, wouldn't he? Because there's those. Yeah, because there's pictures of Kirby and Alan Moore standing together, and like that wouldn't make sense if Kirby died in the 80s.
Kirby was photoshopping those pictures.
Alan Moore photoshopped Kirby into those pictures.
Yeah.
He liked to imagine himself standing next to Jack Kirby. Man, you said it when I posted that picture before, Pink, but man, it is weird to look at those pictures because it's just like, imagine those two even meeting, yeah?
Right?
Like, you know that Alan Moore must have had all the respect in the world for Kirby, but at the same time, they're such different people.
Yeah. such vastly different styles on the industry as well.
Yeah, it's weird though, because like Alan Moore is such an abrasive guy, but at the same time, you imagine it being a perfectly friendly meeting, because like Moore had that respect, and also Kirby wrote the Forever People, so of course Kirby was like the youth will lead us into the future and all that.
Yep.
So Kirby wouldn't be your grumpy old man that has an issue with hippies like Moore.
Right.
Which is funny, because now Moore's kind of developed into that. Where now he's the
Ironic.
grumpy old man.
Yep.
Oh, man. I believe we could call this a podcast. Eddie!
All right.
So, boy. Say bye. Say bye.